Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. Not pictured right now, but, they say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same. And with us here, he'll be joining us shortly, and with us is the king of comments, the magnificent Son X.
X time, let's get it, baby.
It's X time. If it's your first time here to the show, first time of the podcast and live stream, we welcome you here with open arms. This is an all sports show that takes place every single Sunday around 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content that we produce, there's a few things that I encourage that you do. I encourage you to subscribe on YouTube. I encourage you to like the video. And if you subscribe on YouTube, you get those updates, bing, anytime we go live. And if you like the video, it lets myself, Grumpy Old Man, and Son X know that you like the content that we produce. Today's episode, we've got quite a few things to talk about. We have some NIL, name, image, and likeness drama. We've got here some MLB we're going to talk about. We've got some NHL playoffs on the horizon we're going to talk a little bit about. And we've got a little bit about the NFL draft, which is, at this point, it's only it's less than 2 weeks away.
Week and a half.
Week and a half, that's right. So a lot to cover here in today's show. X, I know we've got some comments because we got a little bit of a late start. Let's get through some comments that we have here first.
Gungun says, it's official. The Mets are for real. Son X, in which movie did Nate Beatty squeal?
I think it's in Deliverance.
Okay.
You're already fucking cheating.
Okay. Let me just say something. X asked me the question before. Who's Ned Beatty? That's what he asked me. It's before the show started. And I don't see the comments. X sees the comments. So it's not like he knew that. I have a question for you. Now, I'm going to sub that part. What cartoon is this from? And anyone who knows can put it in the comments after this where it goes, bing, bing, bing.
What?
There was a cartoon character in the Wayback Machine where they go, bing, bing, bing.
Sounds like Flavor Flav.
It's not Flavor Flav. He was not a cartoon character. He looks like a cartoon character, but he was not a cartoon character.
Yeah, boy.
What are you talking about, Grumpy? I'm
Bing,
very
bing,
confused.
bing. People will know. Some people will know.
Bing, bing.
Yeah.
Bing, bing, bing. Is that what he actually says? Is bing, bing, bing?
Bing, bing, bing. Yeah.
I don't think anybody knows what you're talking about.
Pull up Ricochet Rabbit.
Ricochet Rabbit?
You know how to spell Ricochet, which you probably don't.
Is this going to go ahead and get us removed in a million countries because it's got some weird sort of copyright on it? How old is this Ricochet Rabbit thing?
1960s.
1912.
And 70s. Probably the 60s. Ricochet Rabbit.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, Ricochet Rabbit. Bing, bing, bing. Oh, my gosh. This does have it's okay. We're gonna just trust you. We're gonna get the stream removed in half the countries in the United States or half the countries across the world.
What? Just put the picture up.
Okay, I'll put the picture up. I was not gonna play that. Bing, bing, bing. That's what I was concerned.
I just did the bing, bing, bing.
Is that actually what it sounds like?
Ricochet Rabbit.
Or are you tone deaf and it doesn't actually sound like that?
I know.
Bing, bing, bing.
It does
Ricochet
look
Rabbit.
It does look like his guy does something like that. He's like a little rabbit with a hat on.
Yeah, like bing, bing, bing. Ricochet Rabbit.
Yeah, I'll put this up here. Don't worry. You're Grumpy. Ricochet Rabbit. You said during the 60s this little cartoon was on. I assume this is what Grumpy used to watch on Sunday.
So you were expecting me to know something from the 60s?
Well, you didn't know Ned Beatty. There he is Ricochet Rabbit.
To answer your question, he was expecting you to know because that, again, is another piece of history that is quintessential for everyone to know.
Was Deliverance made in the 60s?
It was made in 1972, I believe.
Okay, so it was not made in the 60s. So you expect me to know something that was made in the 60s?
You don't know anything that happened in the 70s, the 80s, or the 90s either.
I know something.
You don't know anything that's happened ever.
Oh, my God.
All righty. So Ricochet Rabbit, who would have had that dialed in for the first 5 minutes of the show? All righty, X, what are the comments?
Well, looking at the comments, no one.
Everyone knows Ricochet Rabbit.
Yeah, nobody commented it, so.
Okay. Here you go.
They didn't want to
James F said, TJ, can you show the hit on, I think he means Pellick in today's game. Tell me if it's legal or not. I say no. Yeah, we can pull that up there, the Pellick hit. I'll be honest with you. They broke it down. Okay, we'll first pull up the clip. We'll share our opinions on it. And then, or Grumpy, you want to share your opinion first, and then we'll show the clip. Doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree with Paul Bitchinette on this. I hate to admit it.
Yep.
Cotter was going for the puck. And here's the thing. Pellick skates with his head down.
Both guys are skating with their heads down, looking at the puck.
But he's never looking. Pelech has numerous concussions because he's always has his head down. Got to keep your head up.
At this point, you breathe on Pelech hard, he's going to catch a concussion. If he didn't, because he tries to avoid, as you'll see in it, he has a moment where he's like, oh gosh, I need to try to avoid, and then he makes contact with the head. If he hit him square in the body, Pelech's getting a concussion too. It doesn't matter. That situation of him skating with his head down and Pelech skating with his head down was ending in a concussion for Pelech. It's just what it was going to be.
He was certainly not looking to cause him any physical harm.
No, let's watch it here. I've got the Paul Bichonette clip from it. We won't watch the full 4 minutes, but I think it does add some context there to it.
To get to it, and he ends up noticing too late. And even there, and all of a sudden, Pelech gets it, and he follows through. This is where a lot of people think that he went out and extended his arm, but from the other angle, you can actually see that it's pretty much still tucked in. Right there, it's tucked in.
That does not look like somebody who's looking to tattoo somebody with a head. It looks like he's trying
to have that elbow out.
But his next stride is going to take him towards Pelech.
Yep. He's trying to avoid. He's trying to get the puck. It's a contact sport, ladies and gentlemen. He's trying to get the puck, and it's one of these things where Pelech has extended his body. He's leaning a little bit forward, and he's just going to get hammered.
It's like, what would have been better? He hits him in the head, or he blows out his knee,
or he runs through his body. No matter what, he's catching.
Those are your two options that you have.
And again, like, he's a guy who gets concussed very easily.
You know what they called this? You want what they called this in the 70s and 80s?
Price of doing business.
Do you want to know what they called this in the 70s, 80s, and 90s? A clean hit.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was.
Yeah. In today's game, they give a 5-minute game misconduct.
They make contact. He's actually on his right edge. So he shifts his.
Nobody who's trying to lay into somebody like that, I'll put it like this, is putting the plant leg or the leg that they're going to be leading through and extending their body through off the ice, right? Like his right leg, who's furthest away, is the only leg on the ice. He's not trying to tattoo Pelech. He could have absolutely fucking smoked him if he wanted to.
The only thing, if you notice the frame before, his left leg was up in the air because he just finished extending with that. The only thing he could have is the right leg to put his skate down. And Pelech, again, got his head down, leaning across in the middle of the ice. You're going to get popped. Yeah. Sorry. He's always hurt, though. He's done. He's finished.
At this point, like, in all serious note, he's had, 4 concussions in the last 3 years? I don't know. Like, again, like they always used to, when we used to play football, it's like, once you get too many concussions, the physician's going to let you know you probably shouldn't be playing contact sports because it's the price of doing business. You're going to make contact with people. And if every time you're getting hit, you're getting a concussion, you probably shouldn't be playing. Concussions, as you get concussions, the more you get, the worse they become and the more severe they become. It's not like it's like, oh, gotcha, every concussion's brand new. They build and they start to compile. That's what it's like. If he was getting hit in the chest, guess what? When he was falling to the ground and his head hit the ice, he was catching a concussion that way too. What would you rather him do? Just say, oh, I'm not going to skate hard and not go after the loose puck? Because that's what it was. It was a loose puck. Pelech stepped into it, started the pass, and he got hit. I don't know. So watch the rest of it. It happens. He wasn't trying to hit him maliciously. He wasn't. But the head absolutely made contact with the body. It's a game misconduct. But I'm not upset with this. Literally happens. It's the price of doing. It's the price of playing a contact sport. Sometimes we do this to other players, and sometimes other players do this to us. There's no malicious intent with this hit at all. He went over and tried to immediately apologize, and Pelech started freaking out and flipping his shit. And again, like, he was obviously concussed, didn't maybe know what was going on, but I'm like, he wasn't trying to tattoo you. If he really wanted to, you would have ended up unconscious being stretchered off the ice. I mean, like, he could have really done that, but he didn't. So I'm like, thank God at least he pulled up a little bit. Maybe
we should show Scott Stevens hitting Eric Lindros, which didn't even result in a penalty. Tell me it's not the same exact play.
Lindros, I mean, Scott Stevens killed him. He ran into him and just didn't. I mean, he railroaded him.
No penalty. Don Cherry, you say you can't skate across the trolley tracks with your head down.
Yep.
You're going to get run over. Don't do it. You can't skate just willy-nilly in the center of the ice and not expect to get hit. Sorry.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We'll watch the rest of this here, a few more minutes of this.
So he shifts his weight. And I think that as a player, sometimes when you're in that situation where you're chasing after the puck, you're more worried about getting to that puck and what you're going to do. So, Ace, why don't you act as Pelech and as the defender? So,
by the way, Butch Goring took a lot of offense to this clip. And Butchie was upset that he didn't know how to pronounce Pellich's name. He's calling him Pellich. I guess what? His name is spelled Pellich. That's how his name is spelled.
Maybe he should be better and he can learn how to pronounce his name.
Butchie and Paul Bichenet have that long-lasting feud, and no love lost with this one, I'm sure.
This was the angle that was coming. So he's coming out of his own end and he's looping around and he's staring at that thing, right? So all the way until it gets to Pellich is when he realized, oh no, Pellich is going to get this first. So he keeps watching. And by the
You know what Pellich should have done? Should have taken the puck and tattooed the other guy. If that's the really, trust me, Pellich, if he's got his head up, it's like, great, I see somebody coming. Let me lower my shoulder and tattoo the next guy so I don't get killed. That's how that works.
He's always, but he stop skating with your head down.
Yeah. All the guys do that today, though, because it's like, oh, if you hit a guy too hard, it's immediately a fight. So it's like if you hit a guy who's got his head down, it immediately results in a fight these days.
Maybe you should just knock them all out. Line them up and knock them out.
So.
The time he realizes that Pellich is going to get it, not only is Pellich getting it and following through, so instead of being straight up, he's bent over, but now all of a sudden Cotter's kind of like, oh no, I got to avoid this thing, and it's too late because keep in mind, we're slowing things down. That's a split second, and what happens though is as he comes in and he's still bent over a little bit, Cotter puts his elbow in, and then as he makes contact, it looks like he gives her one of those. And sometimes that's just the reaction based on when you end up making contact. But
exactly.
Here's the thing. If you're going to make contact with a guy, you're not like, oh, let me go ahead and take the full force of this. You're going to brace your body, and you're going to prepare yourself in a split. We're talking about fractions of a second. You're going to be like, how can I make sure I don't absorb too much of this hit? This is an object now that's in my way that I cannot avoid. I just don't want to. I don't want to feel the impact of this hit. So Pellich felt it instead. It's just human nature. So, yeah, I don't know if you want to watch any more of this clip, Grumpy, but I know it's a little bit longer. But we'll watch maybe a few more minutes.
Watching the video over from all the different angles, it's clear that he was puck focused the entire time.
Yes.
And the only time he ended up extending his elbow out was after he ended up making contact, probably because he was just shell shocked at the fact that he found himself in that position.
So you think because he was reaching for the puck, Cotter,
Yes.
going for it, that he couldn't have made contact with Pellich's body? Because he was going for the puck, that's what
Fuck. If he made this is the worst part of the argument. If he made contact with Pellich's body, I promise you, he's catching a concussion and probably hurt even more. Because again, his body was completely. He hit just a little bit of it. If he hit his body, it would have ended in the same exact result.
deterred him from trying to maybe going for Pellich's shoulder.
The only thing that would have made it unavoidable is by the time he realized that it wasn't going to be his puck, and his brain registering the information that not only did he get it and he followed through, so he's not straight up, he's now keeled over. He would have had to, in this instant, gone ole and completely avoid at all costs. The split-second decision that people at home who are watching to then play at that level, they'll never understand how you just simply can't process that. And that is just simply a reaction by the contact.
Yes.
Afterward, you see the result of Pellich laying on the ice and he's bloody, and I completely get why he gets the gate. But to call it completely unavoidable, I just don't see.
We'll put it in even super slow-mo because like I'll mute it and we'll put it in slow-mo because this is the actual full clip in slow-mo, not broken down.
He's going for the puck.
He still has his eyes on the puck, by the way. And he's like, oh, shit, there's somebody here.
He doesn't. I don't think he ever looks at Pellich.
He doesn't even elbow him.
It's a shoulder.
He doesn't even elbow him. He hits him with the top of his shoulder. He's literally trying to get the puck.
Yeah.
Sorry. Pellich obviously completely oblivious that
Keep
somebody's coming
your
right
head up, Adam Pellich. Keep your head up. Your head should be on a swivel out there.
He did not mean to do that.
He does. No, absolutely. But here's the thing. Got to keep your head up. Protect yourself.
Yep.
It shouldn't be up to the defender to protect the offensive player. Sorry. Keep your head up.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry. That derailed a little bit. Let's get to the rest of the comments here. Get grumpy.
Freedom Fun Adventure says Sunx complains about being chained to a workstation at a sweatshop based on his performance on these shows, not showing up, not starring comments, homicidal rants, sweatshop equals wise. Try it. He's taking some shots.
Take a shot.
James Farrell says, congrats to Rory. McIlroy on winning the Masters. I did watch the end. It was riveting. I thought he was going to choke. He's the first to bogey 4 times in a tournament. I think double bogeyed 4 times and win the Masters.
Yep.
I was so happy.
He does best at the Masters, which is choke it away.
I was so happy for him. Honestly, very, very happy for him.
Completed his Grand Slam.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. Freedom Fun Adventure adds, the Pellic hit was dirty and will get a suspension. But again, no Islanders really went after the guy. Entire NHL knows you can get ready, TJ. Manhandle the Islanders without consequences.
Here's the thing. I do think that the Islanders don't give a shit at this point of the season. Though. They really don't. They should have fought. I'll be again, I didn't think it was a dirty hit. But anytime somebody hits like that, it's a status quo that immediately you stick up for the guy and you fight for him. Nobody on the Islanders fought. And guess what? Nobody during the game took liberties and fought with him. Your fucking season's over. Guess what? It's time to say, we're setting a precedent. You're not allowed to hit guys like that on our team. Anders Lee goes out there. He should have fought. Matt Martin tried to fight somebody. Guess what? They should have run the shit out of the goal. Again, like, you can't let something like that happen. And again, it's like partially Pellic's fault. You know, like, I'm not blaming Cotter. I mean, he's just going for the puck, and the same thing with Pellic. Pellic just had his head down. They both had their heads down. One guy was just bigger and a little bit more physical, and that's the end result of it. But again, like, if you feel upset about it, you should have done something during that game. It meant absolutely nothing. You could have taken a game misconduct or an instigation penalty. It meant fucking nothing if you lost that game.
You're already out of the play.
Better if you lost that game.
Yep.
I agree 100%.
Nice
Freedom for Adventure adds, just heard from TJ. Baby Liza is reading him a story, and when she is done, the show will begin.
There it is.
Aaron Gladden, long time heard from him. The Masters was awesome, and fantasy hockey was also awesome. And go Detroit Tigers.
There it is, Aaron. Go Tigers.
Aaron is a big Red Wings fan, and he's just a Detroit fan. Good to hear from you again, Aaron. Freedom Fun Adventure adds, discuss the national championship that almost never happened. Head coach Golden was accused this past year by 2 females and their writer friend from the trash student newspaper Total Scam. I don't know.
I did not know that he was accused of any sort of misconduct. Definitely not good on that side. I did not know that happened.
Honestly, was that not just every team that lost in the semifinals and the finals? They lost. The other team didn't win. They lost.
They found a way to lose. Like Houston at the very end of the game.
You can't get a shot off in 17 seconds. No matter what, you got to get a shot up. Sorry.
I don't give a shit if it gets blocked.
Drive the basket. Do something. Just stop playing with it. They were terrible. Okay. It was not a great tournament. It was chalk. Not a whole lot of upsets.
There were not a whole lot of upsets at all.
It was not a great tournament this year.
Agreed.
And the teams didn't win at the end. The other teams lost.
Yep.
So we talked about it.
It wasn't like a moment of brilliance won a game. It was like, other teams finding ways to lose via incompetence and poor play.
That's right. Goon says, Sorokin tied battling Billy Smith's mark of 22 shutouts for the Islanders with today's meaningless win. Should I make a toast with a shot of gin? I just want to say, when you're a loser franchise, even when you win, you lose. That's where the Islanders are right now. When they win, they're losing. They're just losing draft position. I don't give a shit if they win any games at the end of the season. I could care less. I'd rather them lose.
Agreed.
This team is so far away. It's light years away from being a good team. I watched Cole Eiserman last night. Don't put all your chips in the Cole Eiserman basket. That's all I'm going to say. He's lazy. He doesn't. Everything they said about him, I saw in last night's game. He absolutely does not compete for the puck. He's not a good skater. He doesn't play. He doesn't back check at all. He's a goal hanger, and he can shoot. You know who that sounds like? Sounds like Oliver Wahlstrom 2.0 to me. Can't
skate, cherry picks.
Will not contribute on defensive end. He's a minimum of 2 years, absolute minimum 2 years away, minimum.
And now again, he could break some of those habits, but I will tell you, if there's usually a lack of compete and a lack of effort, that's a tough one to break.
They're down a goal. Boston University, Denver is, whoever it was, Western Michigan was pressuring in their end. And I'm like, there's only 4 guys out there. It's not a power play. Oh, there's Cole Eiserman at center ice looking at a breakout pass instead of helping with the teammates to get the puck out of the zone. I'm sorry, that's a red flag.
He's like the kid in mites that just sits there tapping his stick like, give me the puck. I want to score. I don't want to do anything that's tough. I just want the puck and the score.
Yeah. And his thing, he's young. He's 19, whatever he is, 18, 19 years old. So maybe he'll get out of that, but he's not. Everything that they've said in his draft year is what I saw in yesterday's game.
Holds true.
That's all I'll say. And that doesn't mean he can't play. Doesn't mean he can't turn out to be something good. But, we already have Anthony Duclair on this team. Or we did for a while anyway. Gungun says, is Phil Sfax the expert of the hot take? Or is he better off shoveling manure with a rake? We haven't heard from Phil. I don't expect to hear from him for a while.
I'm going to guess manure rake.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. JP says, if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, did it actually fall?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's
I
true.
agree. Yes.
Bend it like rice. Uh-oh. Is this our
This is
old
Derek.
friend?
Derek
No, I think this is Al.
Alex Monroe, who was missing in action for a few
See,
weeks.
Derek is an Arsenal fan, so I'm not sure who this is.
Yeah, but I think it's Al. I don't think it's D.
Well, if we read some more of these comments, I'll be able to discern who it is. 3-0 going back to the Bernabeu. Europe sure didn't need to be scared of Vinny, Mbappe, Rodrigo, Bellingham after all. Okay. I think anyone who listens to the show knows that even though as Real Madrid fans, X and I, they're just not good enough.
It's not the fact that they don't have the talent. It's the fact that they don't have a coach who's tactically advanced at all. They're missing certain pieces on the team.
They need more of a hard-ass coach is what they need right now. Because I think Ancelotti's a good coach, and he's done really, really well there. It's a confluence of events. They're playing it cheap in re-signing and signing players in the offseason. They don't want to spend any money. It's the richest club in the world, and they don't want to spend any money on transfer fees. You don't want to get enough defensive players or wing backs. I mean, what the hell's wrong with you? And it looks like they don't want to do it again this offseason. They want everybody on the free. Well,
they try to get everybody on a free transfer now.
Eventually comes back to bite you in the ass, and you're seeing it now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the problem I've got with it. It's just like you don't manage any of the players' minutes that are important to the club. Like last week, you shouldn't. Again, Arsenal is in a position to where they have no shot at all of winning the league. Liverpool's already won the league pretty much. It's all said and done. So they're resting guys. It's like every game they're saying, okay, great, Saka, you're on the bench, and Martin Odegaard, you're on the bench. Okay, gotcha. Mikel, you're on the bench. They just play the good players that are going to start for them on the bench the game before, so they're fresh coming in. It's like, oh, great, I'm playing one game a week. Real's playing twice a week right now, and they're running the same exact starters over and over and over again, very rarely and sparsely using subs. And just recently today, they played a game, Real Madrid, and again, they're starting starters. Again, Mbappe fortunate enough to get a red card, but like Mbappe's out there, Rodrigo's out there, Valverde's out there, Tchouameni's out there, Camavinga's taking a red, so he won't play anyway, so I have no problem with him there. But it's like everybody's a starter. Courtois, Rudiger. Bench everybody and play just a B squad and say, fuck it, we're losing this game. We're not going to win the league. We want to try to win Champions League. But they don't care.
They have so many injuries on their team that they can't even field backups. I told TJ this earlier today. We had a conversation about it. It is true. It is true. They have so many injuries on their team that they can't even field unless they bring up academy players to fill in spots. They can't field a full team.
They have
backups. They can't.
Antonio Rudiger, who's 31, 32 years old, has played, I want to say, 95% of the minutes this year. They've run him into the ground. Fede Valverde, run him into the ground. They've had so many injuries. Well, you know what? You have to be prepared for that. They had options to pick up guys in the offseason. They had guys who performed, but they've had a raft of torn ACLs the last 2 years, a ridiculous amount. I mean, I don't want to go through.
If Militao gets another ACL injury, you got to move on from him.
You got to move on.
You must. It'll be 3 years in a row with ACL injuries. Must move on from a guy like that.
Okay. Well, let's just say that he's done for the most part. David Alaba, he's finished.
It's done.
The whole thing is you had in the offseason, you could have gone and made changes. You decided not to. That's on the manager. That's on Florentino Perez.
The president.
Ancelotti's not been great. I think they've tuned him out for the most part. They need a different manager, and they need to refresh the roster, period.
The other thing I will say, 90 minutes in the Bernabeu is different. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I don't think that they don't have a very high possibility to win, but I will say anything can happen. That's all.
They're going to have to score. they'll have to have 2 goals scored by halftime. They'll have to be 2-0 up to have any.
Jude needs to play Cam. Don't put him out at the freaking right mid spot or left mid or wherever you want to put him to cover up some shitty play from a wing back. Put him at the central spot. Put him as a Cam. You're going to open things up.
Well, I think what you're going to see in this next game is David Alaba will not touch the field. That's what they did with Jude, is they were running Jude at left mid to cover up for the poor defense of Alaba because he can't play defense anymore. He won't play. Frank Garcia will start there. Remember, Tchouameni's also going to come back, so that helps them a little bit on the defensive end, and they'll run Asensio, Rudiger, Valverde, and Danny Ceballos is supposed to come back, which is a big plus for them in this game against Arsenal.
But whoever thought you'd say Danny Ceballos is the linchpin to their
season? He's been a backup his whole career with them.
But it's because of the injuries. Losing Tony Cruz was huge. They did nothing to replace him.
Yep. I agree.
That's coming here, X.
Okay. I don't want to do a Real Madrid show. So JP says, if a fantasy hockey champion is crowned on someone other than Grumpy and no one announces it or shows the ridiculously prepared presentation, is there a champion?
Oh, did JP win?
Yeah.
JP.
Oh, so Grumpy didn't even want to reference it. Look at that sly guy right there.
I think the tournament ended last Sunday. I think was the end. Was last Sunday.
Okay. And you didn't reference anything.
I didn't win. Why would I bring it up? Now,
wow.
Okay. In the semifinals, I don't know why TJ started the playoffs when he did. First of all, he started it early. And I went up. I had the second most points in the league in the week I got knocked out. And after that, I had the most points every week.
Keep complaining. You seem like the Islanders. Get over it.
Congrats to JP. He's lucky he didn't have to play me. That's all I'm going to say.
Get over it, Islanders.
JP said, I sent TJ an email with a presentation. No, you don't send your own presentation. Come on now.
Well, when you dropped the ball and he asked it.
What do you mean I dropped the ball? It just happened last Sunday.
Should have already had a presentation prepared.
Okay, we don't do presentations.
Hold on a second. Grumpy, continue on. You continue on. I'm getting all this pulled up here.
Bend it like Rice. Rice bends the ball so nice he decided to do it twice. All jokes aside, Rice's second free kick is top 10 in the history, no debate. I thought the
first one was better than the second.
The first one was phenomenal. I thought the second one, I'm like, where is everyone in front of the ball? They were like, honestly, it was like a practice kick. It's like it was. I'm not saying it was easy because you have to make that kick.
No offense to Declan Rice. None of those kicks are top 10 in history. None of them for free kicks. None.
He plays for Arsenal, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm just saying none of them are top 10 in history. They're just not.
I thought the first
two were good kicks. They ain't beating Dimitri Payet's finesse free kick that he had. Not beating Roberto Carlos's free kick he had. Not beating Ronaldo's free kick he had. Sorry.
Very true. Very true.
Not top 10.
Gungu says, it's now time for Stump TJ, where we name a famous person in pop culture history and we see if he can make us proud. Who is this person and what made him famous? Kato Kalin.
No fucking clue.
X, do you know who Kato Kalin is?
No.
Okay. Kato Kalin was a guy who was living in O.J. Simpson's guest house.
Ah, okay. He's the white guy who was like, he's a stoner or something like that living out there.
Yeah, he looked like a stoner. And he was living in O.J.'s guest house the night that he murdered Ron Goldman and his ex-wife.
Which
he did. Which he absolutely
did. Crazy. You want to hear something crazy about that? Hold on, TJ, before you play
That's not him.
There was a video that came out that somebody was cleaning out, I guess, this older lady, her husband had passed away, and got a whole bunch of old VHS tapes, and he was just going through them and looking at them. There was a broadcast on there of a NFL, I guess an NFL game where he was doing the broadcast, and he was wearing the gloves that they said that he used to murder her. And he's like, these gloves seem to fit really, really well on this broadcast, don't they? He said, they seem to fit like a glove. The person who's doing it, he's like, wild. And then he's like, but they didn't fit in court.
What's the worst thing OJ did, though, besides murdering those two people? What's the worst thing he did? How about writing the book? If I had done it, I'm like, come on, bro. Come on.
Hello, Twitter world.
No, it's yours truly here.
Yours truly. Hello, Twitter world.
You know what? And I kind of enjoyed it.
I did. I loved how everybody fucking hated him.
But I think punishment for him being, becoming relevant where people kind of liked him a little bit, God just took him out. So sorry.
Yeah. This is JP. JP sent us a video. Grumpy, remove that here. I want to put.
Hello, I'm sending my warmest greetings from the executive offices of JP's Prince Edward Islanders, just outside the dressing room of the victorious Prince Edward Islanders, who have earned the title of Stanley Cup.
There it is.
Signifying the #1 team in all of Islander Never Say Die fantasy hockey. I'd like to thank Commissioner TJ.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank President of Hockey Operations, Grumpy Old Man, and alternate Governor Son X for this great honor. And here is to the champions, my 2024-2025 Prince Edward Islanders. And I'm going to make a toast with the same champagne that the Stanley Cup era Islanders used to use when they were celebrating their dynasty. Cheers.
Why are we doing that on this show?
Was that?
We got to do this next week. I'm sorry.
Yes, it must be on next week. For sure. Absolutely.
How sweet it is.
You know who used to say how sweet it is?
No.
X.
No.
Jackie Gleason.
Oh.
Ralph from the Ralph Show.
Ralph. I remember Ralph from the Ralph Show. Grumpy, you should have told me that. I remember him. Ralph from the Ralph Show.
Congratulations, JP. Absolutely. Save that. We absolutely have to play that on the Islanders Never Say Die show. It was great. Great. You know, and now I'm going to have to come up with all the celebrations since I win everything every year. The one year I let someone else win, all of a sudden, look what happens. I blame TJ for my loss this year, honestly.
Hey, I did affect Aaron's seeding by killing him that last week of the season there, Grumpy. I thought I could pass him, but I didn't. I had to play him, and he knocked your ass out. Simple as that.
Yeah, thanks. Freedom Fund Adventure. I mean, here's the thing. I remember I was talking to Aaron also that week, and I said, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I'm not going to beat you this week because he had guys. He had a perfect schedule week. He didn't have a guy on the bench all week long. It was
Move along. You got
it was great. It was great.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Freedom Fund Adventure goes, TJ, puck was gone. Devils player kept going straight towards the pellic. The shoulder and extension shows intent. Puck was gone regardless, was intentional and will be suspension. I said trade Pellick 3 years ago.
Here's the thing. It's going to be a suspension because of the result.
I don't think he's going to get suspended.
Pellick was concussed. That's why it would be a suspension, if anything.
I still don't think he's getting suspended.
Okay.
He'll be wearing suspenders, but not getting suspended.
Very good. Bend It Like Rice says, we think this is Alex. We think it is.
It is.
Rory did all he could to hand the Masters away today. Amazing final day of the tournament, coming down to last stroke. Hate the loss. Had to come at the expense of Justin Rose. He's a class act gentleman. 100% agree. It was riveting. What a great. I mean, I'm glad for Rory McIlroy. He's been trying for this career Grand Slam for 11 straight years. He's been close like 2 or 3 times. Really, really close. He's been a guy who manages to have some hard luck in the last round of tournaments where guys have their best rounds of the year, and he'll get beat or he'll miss a short putt like he did today. I was conversing with a golf friend of ours today at the tail end of the tournament, and we had a very interesting conversation.
Our golf friend had given me some inside information from the Tennessee head of either the football GM or something like that. Whoever, I can't remember what role they have now, but essentially who handles the NIL money. So I've got some interesting comments on that. It was months ago he shared this with me, but I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure how it was going to be resolved. And I'm like, just so apropos that we're going to be talking about it on today's show.
I got confirmation.
Our golf friend has some really good information.
I got confirmation it is D, by the way. Bend It Like Rice is D, not Al.
Oh,
okay.
It's D. Okay. Why not Alex? Where is he? Still gone?
I guess.
All right. Gungu says, is Kodai Senga the man? Is he a superhero who discovered his superpowers in Japan? I think Kodai Senga is really good.
Good.
He's not a big guy, and you have to worry about health issues with him pitching a full season. I mean, but he's a good pitcher, very good for the Mets. But he's their best pitcher for certain.
He's really good.
Derek Monroe says, what's the 41 stand for? I don't know. Houston Cougars had to figure out defense wins championships, until you need to score points. Worst ending to a national title game I've seen in quite a while. It was terrible. It was terrible. Yep. Thomas Antonetti goes, gents, which of the New York pro sports teams do you feel, one, is the most successful franchise at this time, and two, has the brightest future for continuing success? Hint, we know it's not the New York Islanders.
It's not the Islanders or the Rangers.
Now, when you mean most successful franchise at this time, like throughout their career, most successful, or like who's been most successful over the last 5 years?
Why don't you tackle both questions, X?
Okay, well, sorry, I didn't realize it says. At this time, the most successful franchise. I'd have to say the Yankees. They made it to the World Series last year, right?
Okay, and all time, who would you say?
Don't they have the most championships out of any New York sports team?
So who are you picking?
The Yankees.
Yankees, okay. Who has the brightest future for continuing success?
It's like we're asking him to go ahead and put who he's placing there as a beneficiary on his will or something. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the Knicks have looked pretty good. I'd say it's between them, the Yankees, and the Mets. That's probably what I'm putting.
Way to go out on a limb there, X. For question one, the most successful franchise at this time is the Yankees. All time is the Yankees. The brightest future is the Yankees. So there you go. It's the Yankees.
I'm saying Yankees are best here for the short term. They're best probably all time, and the brightest future.
Probably all time?
No, they are the best all time. They have the most championships than any
27 championships.
New York sports team.
The brightest future? The New York Islanders.
Oh, my God.
All joking aside.
Do you think the Yankees have the brightest future, Grump?
I think the Yankees.
Garrett Cole being out for the year, you think that's a bright future ahead of them?
I'm
being honest.
Continuing success. The Jets
The
and the
brightest future for continuing success. They don't have the brightest future right now for continued success with Garrett Cole.
Guess what, X? I'm allowed to see further than here to here. I'm not talking about this year.
Oh, so you think a season being a wash is just fine then? Okay, because that's what this season is for them. It's a wash.
They're going to make the playoffs. They might even go to the World Series. Okay, are the Mets going to the World Series?
Okay, yes, not happening. Sorry,
the Mets are not going to the World Series.
Sure.
NHL, the Islanders and the Rangers are done. Not even making the playoffs. Football, neither team is going anywhere. Basketball, the Nets, who cares? The Knicks, they're going to get rolled by the Celtics. It's the Yankees.
The Knicks are good.
They're okay, but they won't beat the Celtics.
We'll see.
Maybe they could be the New York Islanders of the NBA. Just lose a couple of years in the Eastern Conference Finals before turning back in.
Well, the color scheme matches, so I mean they got that going.
They're not winning anything.
Nice comment here.
What about you? Okay, so TJ said the Yankees, and then Mets is the brightest future. Okay.
No, we said Islanders.
I said Islanders.
Islanders is the brightest future.
JP, our former champion of the fantasy league, because it's over now. It's a new season. It's getting ready to start. I agree with Biz here. However, if they altered to the equipment so that it's not as hard as concrete, this injury doesn't happen. If he keeps his freaking head up, it doesn't happen.
Okay. He's got, you know what we used to call those back in football? He's got a soft candy shell. Anytime he gets hit, he gets a concussion. That's where he is now. He gets tapped, he gets breathed on, he's going to catch a concussion. He's not a guy built for a physical game. He's got a small, frail body that doesn't hold up the contact. Simple. He's a soft candy shell. That's it.
Freedom Fund Venture adds, oh my God. Bitch and TJ apologists for the dirty play. He knew what he was doing. Pelich should have his head up. Bitch never played at that level either.
Okay, you know what? I wish so you could have really seen what happened. He just tattooed Pellick. He probably would have sent him to the ER if he wanted to just bulldoze him because he had his head down and just skated right through him. He would end up on a stretcher.
TJ, can you pull up Mbappe's red card today? If you want to see intent.
Okay, no, Grumpy. That absolutely will get that taken down. So soccer and I know WWE will restrict it in every single country.
Well, let's just say that Kylian Mbappe absolutely stomped the hell out of this guy's leg. Deliberate. Absolutely. This was nothing like that.
Okay.
You think he deliberately stomped it? Okay, we'll talk about that off the stream.
Yeah, he absolutely did. JP says, there's got to be a way to fix the hardness of the outer shell of modern hockey equipment. Yeah, just don't put Alex. Don't just put Adam Pellick's head in one. That's it.
Stop. Anyway, here you go.
It's like he's playing. It's like he's playing without a skull. That's what it's like.
Next comment.
Freedom from Adventure says the Islanders win when you want them to lose and lose when you want them to win. It's so hard being an Islanders fan. Todd Golden had so much hate by press, and the AD knew it was BS. Writer and females wanted to get famous.
I couldn't even tell you. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. But if you're saying that, it was a huge national story. Yeah, shows you how much. Again, if it didn't cross our little sphere, maybe we just skipped over it at one of the weeks it happened, and I don't recall, or maybe I forgot already. You go.
Front Adventure adds, Grumpy Yzerman's a very good skater. Yeah, not what I saw last night. I haven't watched last night's game, but I know his coach and the coach from Team USA loved him. But you're right, he is young and learning. Yeah, I haven't seen the young guys play. So until I actually get to see him play, I kind of reserve judgment. I watched him play last night, and I was disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. Very disappointed. Gungun says, out of curiosity, what are some podcasts that you chaps fancy? Son X, did you bet on today's Yankees game and take a chancey?
No, I didn't bet on the game.
What podcast do you goofs listen to?
I listen sometimes to the Joe Rogan podcast. Sometimes, just when it's got like wild guests on there.
I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, I don't think you want to give the names.
I just listen to the Joe Rogan podcast sometimes.
I like Grumpy. I like to watch a lot of lol cows. If you're familiar with what those are,
what?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what a lol cow is either.
Local?
LOL cow. Lol cow.
Is that
like funny cows? Laugh out loud cows?
Laughing cow cheese?
It's like people who get trolled by internet personalities, and it's like they just cannot control themselves, and they just kind of just react. Imagine like Grumpy. You remember Frank? I wouldn't consider him a lol cow, but imagine somebody much worse than Frank that probably has done worse things, and they laugh at him even more, and they get a bigger reaction. Like Frank goes, and he bites his thing. Like that would be the tendencies of a lol cow like that. He's very easily triggered.
Okay, move on. No one cares. Like I said, better off not saying anything.
Grumpy, hold on, Grump. What podcast do you listen to? There is one podcast I know Grumpy listens to and is a diehard fan of. I'd say it's almost like a podcast.
TJ and the Grumpy Old Man Show?
No.
Islanders Never Say Die podcast.
Talk Radio.
What?
Boston Sports Talk Radio.
That's not a podcast.
I'd consider it a podcast. They're all sitting around and talking the whole time.
It's a radio show.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Real
quick before the next comment, can we really quick at baseball news? Look at this. He was called safe on this, by the way.
As he starts to look at the lead,
way out of the base path.
No, you're allowed to do that going to first,
You said you're allowed to do that going to first?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
I thought you couldn't leave the base path.
You're allowed to do that. You realize when guys round first base on doubles, they're not in the base path, right?
Yeah,
they're
not out though.
Whose fault? What's the reason why this guy's out?
And does it not hit his hand?
No.
Does his hand not hit his glove?
No.
Watch his right hand.
Hey, I'm seeing a string of that glove hitting his pants. He's out. Get this guy out. He's absolutely hitting him. He's out. That's out.
Whose fault is this?
I think it's the officials, the umps.
It's the freaking first baseman's fault.
Lack of attention, lack of
detail. You want to know how you'd know if he was really out or not? If you had sensors on those damn gloves and sensors on those damn jerseys. AI, baby. Full auto.
Let me tell you something. AI is the worst thing that's ever happened to the world.
It is not. It is great.
Let me tell you something.
It fixes so much incompetency for officiating. It's not even funny.
Listen to me. In the documentary, The Terminator, we see what's going to happen. We've seen it.
What's going to happen, Grumpy? I haven't watched The Terminator.
All refs will be executed. It's great.
Grumpy, I have not watched The Terminator. What happens?
You've never seen The Terminator?
That's correct.
You're lying.
By the way,
you've never seen The Terminator.
He has. He's lying. He's lying. He's
okay, good. Next time you visit, we'll watch The Terminator.
By the way, something additional. 3 officials, since we're on the official talk here, 3 NFL officials got actually demoted to college, and the Chiefs are going to be holding a ceremony to retire their jerseys.
Oh, wow. X, that's not nice. Now, this is on the first baseman, though. Lack of attention. I realize there was a guy at third base, but still, you need to make sure you get that out.
You know what they should do? They should hammer that guy with the ball. Bam! Hammer him. 2 hands. punch him.
Then you get in trouble if you push people down like that.
Hey, when I was coaching, how did I teach you to do it, X?
Ball in hand, in the glove, pop him in the chest.
There you go.
No problem with that.
Not running. You ain't getting to first base on me, buddy. Or second or third. You're going to get tagged. Freedom Fund Ventures goes, the Tennessee Volunteers situation with NIL is sad. I feel bad for them. Nicole tried to extort them. Where is he going now? In April, where he will gain exposure and the same pay. Kids handlers put tons of pressure. There's got to be something else to that. Not what's best for the kids.
So this is Nico Iamaleava. That's literally his name.
Iamaleava.
Okay, maybe it's not exactly pronounced that way, but it's Iamaleava.
In my opinion,
he's leaving. Simple as that. Okay, our golf buddy told me this was months ago that when that shitty quarterback Stetson Bennett signed, or maybe it was, who was the quarterback that left Georgia and went to Miami?
Carson Beck.
Yeah, they're all the same. Shitty quarterback coming from Georgia. When Carson Beck signed that huge NIL deal, him and his dad called up the head of football operations, or the GM of football operations, immediately demanding more in an NIL deal, threatening to sit out. This was months ago. And the conversation was, well, you asked us to bring in player A, B, C, D, and E to help make us a better team. So that's what we use the NIL money on. We cannot increase your name, image, and likeness money to this dollar amount. And this is what this has become. But it was immediately after that Miami quarterback signed. It was the day after they immediately started asking for more name, image, and likeness money.
Do you want to know how you stop this?
This kid sucks. I mean, he blows.
Do you want to know how you stop it?
How, Grump?
There's no spring NIL transfers. If you want to transfer, you have to say it as soon as your season ends or a couple of weeks after the season ends, and then you go into the portal.
You know what stopped the silliness? You sit out a year if you transfer. Fine with it. Do it that way. Bring back the way. You sit out a year.
That's not happening. That's never going to happen.
Why not?
Why not? Because they'll take you to court.
Why?
Because they've already let it happen. They let the genie out of the bottle, and as soon as that happens, you never put it back in.
Make him sit out a year again. You can get paid as much money as you want. You transfer whenever you want. You got to sit out a year, though. Okay. You know what? You're not going to see too many guys.
Okay, then let's say the guy determines he wants to go pro after that year. So he collects a year for doing nothing and then goes pro.
Well, you have to be a junior.
If a team wants to be stupid enough to pay him name, image, and likeness money, if he wants to sit out an entire year and then go pro, have at it.
You don't understand how it works.
I do. I do understand how it works. I understand how to fix this problem.
The most logical way to do it is say, this is the deadline for you to do it. There is no spring period. No, because our season is getting ready to start. You cannot, you cannot transfer in the spring. You can do it at the end of the season, and you should only be allowed to do it once in your career. Once.
Here's my thing about players deciding to sit out. What you get and you run into is a Trey Lance 2.0. Somebody who barely plays any games, who they don't have a whole lot of film on. If somebody decided to sit out, their draft stock would tank. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Especially this kid. He sucks. He sucked all last year. He was the weakest part of that.
If he decided to sit out, he would not be a very high draft pick at quarterback.
And again, now he started missing team meetings and practice on Friday.
He didn't show up
to the driver for the decision of getting rid of him. Now, here, I thought this was kind of interesting. Head coach spoke really quickly and addressed the media. I thought this was kind of he has the right vision for the team, and it's the reason why Tennessee's helped turn the program around. He's helped turn Tennessee's program around.
So Oklahoma address it on the front end. Today's landscape of college football is different than what it has been, and it's unfortunate. Just the situation and where we're at with Nico. I want to thank him for everything that he's done since he's gotten here. That's as a recruit to who he was as a player and how he competed inside of the building. And so a great appreciation for that side of it. Obviously, we're moving forward as a program without him. I said it to the guys today. There's no one that's bigger than the Power T, and that includes me. And they hear me say that a lot inside of that team room. This program has been around for a long time with a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players that came before that laid the cornerstone pieces and the legacy, the tradition that is Tennessee football. It's going to be around a long time after I'm done and after they're gone. And that's what's, special about being here, is that there is a legacy and a tradition that is so rich, and a logo that's recognized not just across the nation, but across the world too. And today you got a chance to see, 110 guys that ran out and competed their butts off, that give their all for Tennessee and do it the right way. And really proud of the spring that they've had, but also, how they culminated it as well. So excited about, where we're at this point.
I thought he came off looking really good in that interview.
Yeah.
Really good.
I think the problem that the player's going to have is everyone spent their NIL money already.
That's correct.
And he's going to have to settle to go somewhere else. It's not like guys aren't making plans now. They made plans in December.
That's why everybody went after. If you saw teams that didn't have quarterbacks, they all went after their quarterbacks months ago.
Yeah, because you have to schedule NIL. I'm sorry, you have to schedule, spring practice, all that stuff. Your season starts in March.
Yep.
You can't be bringing it. Or it was a dumb decision by the kid. He should have done it way earlier.
Way earlier than that. Yeah.
Again, he thought they were going to cave. He thought just Magic donors were going to give him more money, and he said, "No, we're not. We're already paying you. I guarantee." Okay. Was he already getting paid? $2 million, $2.5 million? What do you want? Another million and a half, whatever.
Look it up. Nico Iamaleava.
No, he wanted $4 million. That's where it came in. So now Mario Cristobal spoke about it, and I'll tell you one thing. Good luck. He's going to make less money than if he just would have stayed at Tennessee, and he'll probably have a worse season this year too. I mean, it's a terrible decision by the kid. It's going to hurt him financially. It's going to hurt his career.
We're not going to do that on my end. And I say that without any hesitation.
I can't hear it.
Okay, we're not going to be able to hear it. It's just going to come through the audio. It's not fed through it. Long story short,
why don't you just put words up so we can read it then?
Just says, if you want to if you want to play, hold out, then might as well get out. Again, they're not going to do the holdouts. All these coaches drawing a hard line and saying, if you want to hold out, we can't commit to that, and just go find someplace else to play. So good to see again. That's kind of where things are. At least things aren't completely crazy and wacky in the world on that side yet. But what other comments do we have here?
Goon says the Capitals are suddenly playing like poop as of late. Grumpy, what's your favorite song by John Waite? Well, I'll answer. Missing You. That's like his big song. I enjoyed that one. And I don't think it matters. I don't understand why they're sitting guys. I just think it's dumb. I do hope they beat the Islanders on Tuesday night.
They're putting up the tent. They're not trying hard, Grumpy. They're resting guys.
Then they could lose in the first round to whoever they play. Columbus is coming on like gangbusters.
They've won the last 4 games. They're playing well. Now, again, they're still 3 points behind the Montreal Canadiens, and both teams have 2 games left. So if Montreal wins a game, it's over.
Yeah, Montreal's got to win, but they've been struggling.
Columbus has to win their last 2 games, and Montreal has to lose in regulation the last 2 games.
Aaron Gladden says, I took Grumpy out in the quarterfinals. I had a huge shutout from Mrazek to beat Grumpy on that Sunday. Yeah, think of Peter fucking Mrazek that beat me out.
Yeah.
He finished 3rd in the league as well.
There it is. Congratulations.
Frank from Empire State goes, I log on, I see some guy drinking. LOL. Hello, everyone. Just got done watching the Islanders podcast from last night.
There it is. What's up, Frank, man? Good. Thanks for stopping in.
Freedom from Adventure. I think this is a shot at X. New game, X smarter than TJ. TJ thought Property Brothers would keep Lou because they have enough butts in the seats at UBS. Islanders have loads of empty seats. Fans pissed. Results in AHL suck. Why keep Lou, X? Oh, boy.
You shouldn't. You should get rid of Lou.
Oh, there you go, X.
I think they should get rid of him too, but they're not going to.
I think, honestly, what you're putting out there is it's very obvious that it's not working. You need to clean house.
Don't get me started. You don't even know the lore. You don't know what's behind it. It's going to take
the lore. The lore.
It's going to take too long to explain to a peon, a novice who doesn't watch the Islanders like you as to what's going on and get you caught up on the
I
situation.
might be a novice and not watch the Islanders, but I do have one thing, which is a brain. And I can tell you, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is what we like to call insanity.
Oh, good one, X.
I disagree, but you don't understand about the ownership group and you don't understand what they're looking to do. Simple.
Well, maybe you should make some signs that say y'all are insane.
How about billboards? There you go, Frank.
Frank from Empire State goes, Yes, huge win by Rory. Exciting golf that blew away the Islanders' action. Oh, yeah, that Islander game they're hard to watch. They're hard to watch. I sent TJ a clip, which I'm sure we're going to play on the Saturday show, about the national pundits talking about the Islanders. Old and slow and boring. Those are the words that came up. Old, slow, and boring.
Let's talk about this. Kyron Lacey. Now, he committed suicide. He killed himself here, is apparently what happened. Now, okay. Don't want to see anything like that. First off, I'll state that. I mean, you don't want to see anybody kill themselves. The issue I have online is people are like, oh man, they're acting like he's a saint.
He's a criminal.
Well, he was convicted, and he was going to be on trial for vehicular manslaughter, driving on the other side of the road and running into a car and killing someone and then fleeing the scene. I'm like, and they're like, oh, this guy would have been a first-round pick, first-round talent. Like, he never would have been drafted. He had ongoing trial of him killing somebody. I'm sorry. Like, he probably was not going to play in the NFL. He probably was never going to play another down of football because, again, driving on the opposite side of the road in the wee hours of the morning, who knows? Maybe he was under the influence. I don't know. But again, when you drive it, I've driven plenty of times. I've never driven on the wrong side of the road. I've never hit somebody as I'm driving either and killed them. But it's just like, I don't know. You feel for the young man because he had everything at his fingertips, and probably a bad decision like that completely altered his life and resulted in taking his own life. So you don't like to see that, but
Henry Ruggs, same thing.
He made his choices, and it's like he put himself in that scenario where he felt like the only out or the best viable solution for him was killing himself, which is unfortunate.
I always say that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem, and there's no confirmation that his favorite player is Henry Ruggs or that he was high on the Raiders draft list. No confirmation.
I'm just going to say one thing. If you've ever heard the little, I guess it's kind of like a quote that Nick Saban has where he's talking to the team, it was right after the Henry Ruggs situation came out. It's really good. You should watch. He kind of talks about how a guy had literally had the world at his fingertips and he made one stupid decision. He had friends around him who didn't take the keys away from him, stuff like that. It's really good if you get a chance to watch it.
It's so easy to get an Uber in today's society. It is easy.
Especially with the NFL because it's offered.
It's free.
It's offered and it's free.
Now, again, he wasn't in the NFL yet. He just finished up. This is the offseason. He just finished up playing at LSU, declared for the draft, had some questionable issues, personality issues to begin with, and that happened right after he declared, or shortly thereafter after he declared. It's just like it's sad. It's sad, but again, I will not be, like everybody else is acting like he's some sort of saint like that. Oh man, so yeah, he's never going to play another down of football because of the actions he did taking somebody else's life based off of a mistake that he made of probably drinking while driving. That's kind of what their ex. Stephen
Porter says, since Pickett has ruined the Steelers quarterback core, who do they go with and have the best chance to be a contender this year?
I will say this, as much hate as Kenny Pickett gets, Mike Tomlin did a good job. He finally did draft a quarterback that won a Super Bowl in Kenny Pickett. So he did at least identify a quarterback that was capable of winning
one that played in the Super Bowl too.
He did. He played in the Super Bowl, won himself a Super Bowl. Kenny Pickett.
Can it be anyone but Aaron Rodgers at this point?
I think probably
a contender.
Who else are they going to get? If you want to be a contender, who else is out there?
He's not. Sorry.
It's got to be Rodgers.
No, he sucked last year.
What's Pittsburgh's quarterback room right now?
Okay, here's, by the way, New Orleans Saints probably will be playing without Derek Carr for the entire 2025 season after it's revealed that the quarterback is dealing with a shoulder injury. Carr may elect to undergo surgery, but his outlook on the upcoming season is grim, and the Saints need a quarterback. So it's pretty much between the Saints, perhaps, and the Steelers for Aaron Rodgers.
They were talking about the Vikings.
Not to mention J.J. McCarthy is going to be out for a majority of the regular season as well.
He had a torn meniscus and in training camp last year. How the hell is he going to miss?
He's fallen back on rehabbing it. It didn't go as planned, is what they said.
He's probably too busy sitting in the corner going,
He did the crisscross applesauce a little bit.
Whatever he did.
That's how I heard it.
You can't draft guys like that. I think honestly.
So JJ McCarthy's still hurt?
Yeah, they said he's going to miss probably like over half of the regular season.
Did he lose his leg? Because that's the only excuse.
They said the recovery has not been going as well as they'd hoped.
How the hell do you miss more than a year and a half with a torn meniscus?
Ask David Alaba.
He had, so also it says while recovering, he also underwent a second procedure to address swelling and a biological infection. I don't know. It seems like there was a lot of other things going on with that. Bioinfection. Those are usually not good.
Okay.
Those are things like MRSA.
I got to say, I don't believe it because they would have made more of an effort to bring Sam Darnold back. They made no effort to bring him back. They could have just franchised.
I don't know if they were in. This was just released like maybe 2 days ago.
The team knows. The team knows where he's at.
Doctors know where he is.
They could have franchised Darnold. I don't believe it.
Who does Minnesota have as their current quarterback then?
JJ McCarthy. That's it.
They have nobody else?
No.
Well, that's not good.
They let Darnold walk. They could have tagged him very easily. They decided not to, which tells me JJ McCarthy's a starter. They brought Rodgers in.
They had Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones.
That's right. Daniel Jones. Yep. They said, hey, if he could tear it up against us, he might as well play well for us, right?
So Daniel Jones, Rodgers won't go there. Pittsburgh is where Rodgers should go. Pittsburgh
or the Saints.
Not the Saints. He should go to Pittsburgh. He should go to Pittsburgh.
He honestly may have a chance to do something in Pittsburgh.
I mean, I'd like to see him in Pittsburgh.
A different mind says, who's your favorite Hart or who's the pick for the Hart this year, fellas? X, I'll let you go first. Who do you think's going to win the Hart Trophy? What is the Hart Trophy?
Oh, that's like for the most generous player, right?
Most valuable. Close
enough. That's generously valuable player. I'm going to say Connor McDavid.
Okay, that's wrong.
X obviously has not been playing, but he does know a few of the names. Good to see.
It's got to be the Kucherov or Draisaitl this year.
That's what I meant to say. Kucherov or Draisaitl. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah.
It's going to be Kucherov.
Okay, next.
Actually, might be Ovechkin.
No, it won't be Ovechkin. Drew
says, unfortunately, Grumpy, the Knicks actually have a good front office, unlike the Islanders.
Ooh, what I tell you, Knicks? Told you. You didn't listen.
Drew also adds, they just need to fire that geezer Thibodeau. Frank from Empire State goes, nice job, JP. I don't drink much. Nothing good comes out of it. LOL. Frank also adds, hey, how's everyone feeling about the Islanders winning today? Sadly, I didn't watch the last two games, which is shocking, but I'm tired of being disappointed. Everyone's disappointed they won. And goes, is DeGrom even playing baseball anymore? Should be shown the door.
No, he's still playing, and guess what? He's building his resume for a Hall of Fame career. Simple as that. Jacob DeGrom's pitching well.
He's not been pitching great. He's not been pitching great. I just said it. He's not been pitching great. His numbers have not been great this year.
He said one bad game.
He's had two bad games.
Was it really two bad games?
He's not been great this year. He's been average this year. Certainly not Jacob DeGrom like. His fastball is down 2 miles an hour. They say, oh, well, maybe that's because he doesn't want to blow his arm out again. Well, okay. But
you know what? I'm letting you know something. Jacob DeGrom for the Cy Young. Put it in now. Lock in your bets. Go to DraftKings now and lock that bet in.
Okay.
It's a lock.
Now, I want to get into this. Drew says, also, TJ, we hooping got a new haircut. I sent it to you.
Yes, Grumpy. Hold on. Let's pause this. This needs to be addressed immediately.
I don't even remember what his old haircut was.
Do you want me to pull it up for you, Grumpy?
Can you do like a before and after haircut?
Yeah, hold on a second. I'll pull it up there first. Go to the next comment there, X.
That's okay. While you're pulling, okay, I wanted to mention something. We just talked about this. Freedom Front Adventure, gentlemen, Son X discuss the wide receiver Lacey unblinking himself after he got himself in trouble with crazy driving, and Texas wide receiver Bond needed to turn himself in for sexual battery charges. That's what happens when you give these kids money at a young age. They just go crazy. Stop giving them money. While you're pulling up that, I did want to mention that Bill Belichick released a new book, and he's thanked 269 people, including Malcolm Butler, who he benched and cost the Patriots a Super Bowl 52. But he did not mention Robert Kraft at all in that book.
Did he mention Brady?
I don't know if he mentioned Brady, but they didn't. He talked about Brady in the book, but Robert Kraft's name was never mentioned, not even in the acknowledgments or thank yous. But there was somebody who was his, oh my God, it was his muse. And, his reason for living is this new little girl that he's been dating.
I thought you were going to say the book was titled 20 Ways to Get a 24-Year-Old Girlfriend. That's what I thought you were going to say the title of the book was.
This is our boy Wee Hoopin.
You couldn't have waited till I finished that before.
Did it derail your thought process, Grumpy?
Couldn't wait. Well, I let you go on forever talking about whatever ridiculous you were talking about, some type of stupid YouTube podcast that you watch.
Long Cow or something like that.
Whatever. Long Cow.
Did this derail your thought process, Grumpy, putting up a picture of Wee Hoopin?
Is this the new Wee Hoopin?
All that ice definitely distracted me.
That's the old Wee Hoopin. This is the new Wee Hoopin.
That's old Wee Hoopin. Okay, I thought that was new Wee Hoopin.
No, this is the new Wee Hoopin. Let me zoom in on this so we can get a better viewpoint of it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. He's such a fool. He did this on purpose. This kid's an idiot. Look at him. With the car running him from the side, T-boning him when you need it.
Grumpy, he's in your neck of the woods. You sure you don't want to collaborate?
I don't know if he's in my neck of the woods.
Yes, he's in Charlotte area, Grump.
I don't know that. You say it doesn't make it true.
He's in the Charlotte area.
That does look like a road I know though.
JP.
That's correct. Look, if you can't get popped in the chest with a mitt without getting butt hurt, maybe don't play. Holy cow. I thought that was a proper. Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. Drew says, Nick Iamaleava jokes write themselves. Iamaleava. Is that his name, Iamaleava?
Nico Iamaleava. Jokes write themselves. That's what he was saying.
Freedom Fun Roger goes, TJ, when the Golden scandal broke, it was probably during one of the 34 weeks per year you and Doc Page were on vacation.
Shit. You know what? I'm going to put this up here because this is speaking about, at least the Florida Gators. Maybe, Grumpy, you'll find this interesting. I think X will too. This is after they won the national championship.
Yeah, I saw this.
What is their first class back to school after they win the national championship?
Class back. I'm all online. All my classes are online. I'm all online. I'm good. I don't have to go to class. I can just party for a week. I still got to decide if I want to go back. I'm sure it's a rising seas class. What do you learn that from?
What are you saying, Grump? I thought you were saying something. My bad.
Why are there no closed caption for people who cannot understand gibberish on here?
Okay, Grumpy, just keep listening, all right?
I can't even understand them.
Hold tight, Grumpy.
Jeez, man.
What's your first class back?
Class? No. It's Monday. I don't got no class on Wednesdays.
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Tuesday now.
Wait, what? What school do I have? I have bio too. Oh, what are you learning? I don't know. I've been to bio in about 2 weeks. English 101.
I'll tell you how we start exam.
Honestly, bro, I'm a grad student. I already got my degree. I ain't going to class.
What's your first?
How many of these kids do online classes?
The only guy who I have any respect for is the guy who graduated.
Yes.
The other guys, no shot. What are you learning in bio? Bio 2, no less.
No idea.
Bio 1, bio 2. And you have to take biology in high school, by the way. So what are you learning in bio?
Biology is a little bit tougher.
No, I haven't been there for 2 weeks. No, dude, you've been there for 2 years. I come on.
Okay. I do have a few of these. I wanted to put this up. This is another one.
Florida Scholar Athletes. Those are great student athletes. Their school's not getting that $1,000 gift, to the scholarship fund for having great grades. Remember they used to do that? The Scholar Athlete of the Week is Johnny Jones, and Nebraska gets $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund. They're not qualifying for that.
Grumpy, I want your opinion on this. X has already seen it, but I want your opinion.
I got a twirling thing of death. I don't see anything up there. Here we go. Oh my goodness.
Twirling thing of death.
Don't look at the penguin on the side.
You can't help it. That's the thing. He's spinning around with his tongue out.
Okay, just watch it. This is the player here. Watch this.
Looks like he's from Japan.
Did you see him?
He did the same thing the penguin did.
Yeah.
Okay, Grumpy, hold on. He was doing that. He did the stick his little tongue out thing. I've never seen anything like that in the baseball game. I was curious if you've seen anything like that before in a baseball game, Grumpy.
No. I'll tell you what, though. I saw something like that today when I FaceTimed you.
What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, little Liza. Yeah. Again, Grumpy wants to make Grumpy. Just keep it.
Right, next comment.
Freedom Fun Adventure goes, Son X, since you're here and not hungover tonight, what is a cool Grumpy story when you were a kid and you thought he was cool. What's a funny, surprising TJ story?
Ooh, a cool, grumpy story. Well, there was one thing where I don't know if it's appropriate for me to say, but I feel like we've said it on the podcast before. The story of when Grumpy had my back at Texas Roadhouse, and he had to put this lady and this old lady in their freaking places, and he had to absolutely just drop a deuce right on both of their foreheads. Should I tell that one, Grump, or no?
Go ahead. I don't give a shit.
That one illegal? All right. Well, there was
maybe clean it up a little bit.
Okay. I was
maybe you don't even need to. Just use like different
acronyms. Okay.
I was like, what, 13, maybe 13, maybe younger than that at the time.
I don't know how old you were.
I wasn't super old, but we went to Texas Roadhouse, and they did something where they said it was like first come, first serve seating at the bar area, and the place was packed. This was after a baseball tournament. So Grumpy and the warden, of course, did not relieve themselves at the stadium, so they had to relieve themselves and go to the restroom at the restroom.
Necessary to tell that?
Yes, it is imperative to the story.
It's more important to say we gave X a little bit of responsibility, and he played the role of Jerry.
Okay, so what ended up happening was they both went to the bathroom, and they said, go try and find a seat by the bar. One opened up. I went and sat in the seat. This other lady came and sat down in the seat right after me, and I was like, oh, this is back when I was like kind to people. So I was like, oh,
How young were you, X?
I probably like 10 to 13 around that.
No, you were older than 10. We wouldn't have left you out there alone.
Okay, like 13 maybe.
He's probably
13
20.
oldest.
Probably
I was not 20. I was not 20. Okay,
It
so I
was
sat
last week.
down. I was like, oh, it was like, hey, it was like I sat here first. I'm saving this seat. No, you're not. No, we were here first. That's what the lady told me. And then she brought over her whole entire family to come sit in that seat and essentially kicked me out. The waitress got there and she's like, oh no, you kick this guy out of the seat. He shouldn't be here. We got here first, sort of thing. And of course they took the word of the older woman. So I ended up getting out of the seat, and I went ahead and told Grumpy as he got out of the bathroom. And I said, he's like, what happened? I was like, some freaking lady kicked me out of the seat. I was like, I got there first. And I was like, and she pretty much told the waitress, like, get out. Like, told me to get out. And Grumpy was like, you're fucking kidding me. He's like, and of course he went this typical Grumpy way. He's like, you're fucking kidding me. And then the warden came out.
You were older than 13. If I talked to you like that, you were
no,
older.
you never used to talk like that, but you would talk like that when you would get mad. You definitely did.
Not when you were that young.
Yeah, and then what happened was the warden came out of the bathroom, and she's like, what the hell? She's like, what happened? Because she saw that you were all flustered and everything. And he's like, some bitch kicked Nick out of the seat. Oh, X out of the seat as he was sitting in there. And then one of the ladies came out and was like, some older lady was like, that's my daughter you're talking about. And I remember you called her a see you next Tuesday. And you were like,
oh, see, the apple didn't fall far from the tree because she's in see you next Tuesday, just like you.
Okay. Yeah. You were definitely older than 13 when that happened.
Yeah. He was like 15. It was a traveling.
I was not.
Yeah. You're like 15 years old. Was I at this event?
No.
You were,
yeah,
no,
I
you were
held
in
it down, no
college.
problem.
You were at home eating pounds of icing.
I think, yeah, maybe I was at college. Yeah.
No, you were not.
No, he was. It was when you played for the Clippers.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Gungun says, Son X and TJ, when you played.
Well, I never got to tell a story about TJ.
Go ahead. Tell the story about TJ.
A funny story about TJ was probably the one time when we were sitting and watching that football game, and he had a full glass of milk. And he yells out, he's like, that should never have been a flag. And he's very animated with his hands when he gets talking. So he went ahead and smacked the glass of milk all over the floor, and Grumpy lost his mind. And that was probably.
I remember that.
I do.
I did a lot of stupid shit.
I absolutely remember that. And I remember the other story where we pissed Grumpy off when he was taking a nap during a Michigan football game. We kept shooting that little keychain gun that we had over and over and over again to see when he would wake up. And he woke up, he's like, you two jackasses, knock that off. That was great. That was good.
I thought you could tell the one where he wandered out naked at a hockey party.
Nah, I would
wander out naked at a hockey party.
You absolutely did. Okay. Gungun says, Son X and TJ, when you played sports, what was more crucial, a jock strap or a cup?
A cup. The jock strap ain't going to do anything to protect you.
Was Nassau Coliseum a dump? They would not know, but yes, Nassau Coliseum was a dump.
Freedom Fun Adventure says, and Rashada has now transferred 3 times. Yikes. How are you going to get a degree transferred 3 times?
Our friend Stephen Porter from Florida says, is this an Islanders podcast?
Whoa.
It is not, Stephen. Frank from Empire State
Fresh
goes, X with a fresh perspective on what we have no idea. Goodwin says, TJ and Grumpy, when did you realize the chemistry on this podcast was real? Son X, how many times did you watch Ally McBeal?
I don't think I've ever watched Ally McBeal.
I'm sure you never watched Ally McBeal. Do you know who the star of Ally McBeal is?
No, don't care.
Next. I definitely thought that was just an actress. I didn't realize that was a show. So I'm going to say no.
Ally McBeal, no idea.
Melissa Flockhart. And do you want to know who she's married to?
Something Flockhart.
Kurt Reynolds. Who knows?
Harrison Ford. And she's like the Jordan Henderson girl to Bill Belichick. That's the age difference between those two. JP goes, condolences to any family or friends of that Lacey fellow. Also to the family and friends of the victims he accidentally killed under the influence.
Yeah. Yep. Frank says, hit the thumbs up. Yeah, it's a sad story. Don't drink and drive. Absolutely.
Don't drink and drive.
Sure, Frank. Yes, taxis, subways, Ubers, great things. Yeah, absolutely. Stephen Porter says, ask TJ on how you missed more than a year with a torn meniscus. I had microfracture surgery.
You missed more than a year, though.
No, I missed a season. I missed 1 year, and I was back by spring ball. I mean, so a torn meniscus, he should be back. Drew, Grumpy.
Steelers, I believe, are talking to Jackson Dart at this point. I think teams are just sick of Aaron Rodgers' antics. My problem with Rodgers, dude, you have to be able to commit. If you want to play, you have to tell the team before the freaking draft.
Somebody's draft board has Jackson Dart going number 1 overall to the Titans. I saw that.
Is that Grumpy's draft?
No, I saw some rando put something up there, and they said here, this is they're like things that I think can happen. They put Jackson Dart.
I think at the end of the day, the most success, and I'm not saying it's a great quarterback draft because it's not. I think that Jackson Dart will be the best quarterback to come out of this draft.
Let me ask you this, X. Where do you have Will Levis going in this year's draft?
Dude, I mean, I don't think it's possible to be drafted number 1 again overall. So, I mean, if I had to say number 1 again, if he could re-enter the draft, I'd probably say number 1.
Drew says the Saints are going to take Shedeur Sanders. Oof, freedom from the venture.
I can't think of big college teams that don't already have their quarterback. Nico and his handlers thought they had all the power, bad luck, hurts earning, and tells he thinks he won't make the money in the NFL and needs to max it now.
Yep.
Freedom Fund Adventure also adds, oh my God, Son X, when TJ says you don't understand, he's referring to this crazy theory with zero evidence. Tommy frickin' Baffy told him, and your irresponsible brother swallowed the load.
Whoa!
Yeah, the one podcast I didn't start on time because I had something else I was doing. I came back and the Islanders were sold, according to these two guys. Freedom Fund Adventure adds, there is a massive problem on college and pro sports where these guys are drag racing, doing crazy maneuvers, and putting others in danger, and gambling has reared its ugly head in the European Serie A League again.
Yep. Yeah. Weston McKennie got popped too. The United States men's national team player is apparently included in this. The allegations.
Now that you have to get his ass banned, right? They won't do that in the United States, though. They're absolutely not.
Here's my thing. When do you think University of Georgia, because they had another player get a reckless driving charge again? When do you think Georgia ponies up some money and just builds the kids a drag strip on campus?
I don't know.
I mean, honest to God, you'd be better off. You'd be saving players from getting arrested all the time.
It's, you know what? They let them do whatever they want because money, the success in athletics is more important. What is college supposed to be for?
It's athlete student.
What is college supposed to be for?
Get an education. We know, but it's athlete student.
To develop you as a human being and increase your education.
Anybody who thinks that it's supposed to be like that is foolish when it comes to athletics. It's athlete student. It's not student athlete. Never has, never will.
Student athlete.
Yeah, but it's athlete student.
That's right. Student athlete. Correct. Yeah. Freedom Fund Adventure says, talk about Tyreek Hill's latest drama. That dude has problems and needs constant attention. He's going to probably kill some. Oh, I'm sorry. He's probably going to kill someone one day. He was crazy driving last year when he had all the police incident. Yeah, yep. He's a problem. He's a problem.
Absolutely is.
Freedom Fund Adventure adds, I mean, Miami can't, he's untradeable at this point, is he not?
Freedom Fund Adventure says, I think so. The only ways that lose lack of action, and I know this isn't why, is that he wants the team to be worse next year to get Gavin McKenna, the 1 overall. He does appear to be a generational talent, but Lou has no plan.
You want to hear something?
Away that pick.
You want to hear something interesting? The warden said to me, she's like, The Islanders have no plan. They have no direction. The warden. You have to know the warden for her to say that. What do you think about TJ? The warden saying that the Islanders have no direction.
She's right, but yeah, she doesn't pay attention to any of that type of stuff, which is
she probably said that the Islanders have a plan, kind of like somebody who does something with knives.
What?
Putting them upside down.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm going to put this up here. This is the first time in NHL history that the Bruins, Rangers, and Penguins all missed the playoffs.
And the Blackhawks also, I thought.
No.
Of the North American original 6 teams.
First time in NHL history, the Rangers, Penguins, and Bruins have all failed to miss the playoffs.
It's the Blackhawks also. They talked about it on today's telecast.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you what the image shows, and that's not going to be incorrect.
Drew says, I'm just wondering when Brian Cashman is going to end the Carlos Rondon experiment. Frank says, I meant X with a fresh Islanders perspective.
That's right. That's right.
Aaron Glenn says, Georgia needs to stop being nice to their players and lay down the law along with the whole SEC. Stop being nice to players and hold them accountable. They'll just go somewhere else. They want to win.
Unfortunately, that's the bad thing is if you go ahead and you reprimand these players, they'll just be like, that's fine. I'll just leave. I'll go play.
They want to win.
Yep.
They're there to win, period. That's it.
And they have to kiss the players' asses to do that, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that's the way it is.
Yep. They do it in the NFL, too. They kiss the players' asses all the time.
That's true.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to put this up here. It's funny. Angel Hernandez still is umping. I want you to watch this little clip here. I mean, like the umpires. Maybe X is on something with this AI stuff. I want you to watch this clip and we'll comment.
It's not AI. It's not AI.
Maybe Grumpy. Maybe X is on it with it here. Let's watch.
Current manager of the Angels, Ron Washington.
Oh, that is way below the strike zone.
And that one
that's
is
off the plate. I mean, that's not a strike.
Now Jorge Soler, as Gray punches into strike for the Philadelphia kid who won the Anthony Gubaza Scholarship.
Ooh, that was a pretty good pitch. It was a strike, not called. Mike Michalensky just missed strike 3.
Well, you had.
And that one was borderline at best as well. And Kikuchi. The Angels look for their second straight. Well, that was the plan for Ken Lee.
Don't they have the challenge thing in effect, or is that just for spring training?
Just preseason, just spring training.
And here's my thing: you wonder how long the games would be if you're challenging every freaking pitch? No, get rid of them. Bring AI in there.
Or you know what they should forget AI. It's not AI. You stupid son of a bitch. I hate that you continue to say it's AI. It's not AI. They're robotic umps. You know what it should be? If you call something, it should be boop. You should be clued in the head. Nope, that's a strike. Or every
you know what a robot is? It's called artificial intelligence, Grump.
Artificial intelligence is not a robot, numbskull.
It is a robot.
Not a robot.
It is a robot. AI is incorporated with the robots, Grumpy. It's how they work.
You're so
you know what else I'm glad? I'm glad they brought the pitch box up too, so we can really see how shitty these umpires are. It's great.
Sure. And he gets it. No, he did not. No, he didn't.
Wow, did he call that a strike?
Everything. That is a rough call from Mike Malinsky, the home plate umpire. 6 innings. The Angels have now had assignment go along.
Get that timing together.
Big league matchups. And did he go?
Useless.
How poor the calls are across the board.
Useless.
Anyway, there's one other thing that X sent me. He wanted me to put up. This is Don Cherry back.
Don Cherry back in the day. Yes, let's see it.
Don Cherry here talking about Alexander Ovechkin.
Oh yeah, this is good. This is good.
There you go. Okay.
Don't do it. I'm going to tell you about this guy. He's got a free ride. He runs it, guys, does this stuff. I am predicting somebody's going to get him, and somebody's going to get him good.
Old people, like they're like when people show some energy, some emotions.
Right.
So they're like robots. You can go like this. You have to skate like this. Don't celebration when you score a goal. Thank you, Dom.
That was hilarious. No celebration when you start all. Thank you, Don.
Listen, Don Cherry is he bled red and white.
Oh, that was just so
whole
funny.
life.
That was just so
He
funny.
hated
I love that.
Swedes, he hated Czechs. He hated Russians. He just loved Canadians and some Americans. But
I just thought it was so funny.
He's
Ovechkin
always
just
Canada all the way. Drew says Georgia players would turn into Anthony Duclair real fast.
Gosh, quitting on the team.
Freedom Fund Adventure goes. Grumpy, a 20-year-old tight body, could be a lot of men's reason to live. Freaking we hooping. Guy is bringing back the retard word. TJ, ask yourself why you get attached to watching the dumbest content.
God, he's so dumb.
The R word.
Oh my God, Grumpy.
Drew Grumpy.
Well,
ignore Grumpy X. Grumpy's too old to understand modern day techno.
Even technology autocorrect.
Wait, what did you say there?
Drew, I like you trying to back me up, but that was probably not the best representation of AI. Right?
There you go. You're both the same. Drew's about your age
That
too.
was funny, though. That was good.
And we love Drew, but he's one of you.
I honestly, sports would be so much better if they added it in.
At least Drew knows Japanese. Freedom Fund Adventure goes. I am so surprised X brought up the Roadhouse story where he was dominated and run out by old ladies. Doesn't make you look good, kid. What's the other story that X got intimidated by ladies?
Oh man,
Aaron G.
I love listening to Grumpy and Sonic Sorry About thing. It's pretty cool and funny. You know what I like? What about the time when
it's okay.
I tried to protect X and I tore my rotator cuff?
That's a good story too.
With the dog in the backyard.
We'll save that for another show.
Well, let's wrap it up here, guys. X Grumpy, what do you want to say before we end the show here today?
X, what do you have to say?
Oh, I thought you said Grumpy. X, what do you have to say? So you're saying your name
Grumpy
first.
or X?
Okay. I just want to thank everybody for coming out. Love the interactions in the comments as always. And we will see you guys next time.
What'd you like to say here, Grumpy, before we wrap up the show today?
Love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ, the grumpy old man, and Son X.
Thanks so much, guys, for watching the show here this evening. We'll be live with you guys next Sunday between 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much, Grumpy. Thanks so much, X. Thanks, everybody, for commenting in. And we'll see you guys next Sunday.
X time. X time. Go ahead, TJ. Do X time.